Hello everyone, and welcome to another one of our videos. Please take a deep breath, relax, and enjoy.
What screams I'm a loser? Being obsessed with winning, needing to win everything, or always one-upping in a conversation. That just screams unhealthy insecurity to me. I work with someone like this, and when they do lose they throw the most childish tantrums you'll ever see from a grown-up adult. Or when it comes to work itself, and something they did needs to be corrected. Instead of correcting it like any normal person would, they'll double down on it and argue with you even if you have ample evidence to prove they're wrong. Angry incel talk. You know the ones. I'm a nice guy, why don't girls like me, why do they love bad boys, etc. You can see it when they refer to men as chads or alphas and losers as betas, while females are referred to as Stacys and femoids while proper, Christian, virgin women are traditional. I have no sympathy for those guys. Plenty of short guys, fat guys, bald guys, guys with skinny wrists, get laid every day. They blame physical traits but really it's their attitude. Work on improving that but don't turn it into hatred of an entire gender. After you are 25 or so, I don't care how cool you were in high school. If you intend to let your high school stories speak for you as an adult, I intend to let that shape my opinion of you. I got two friends who speak and act like they are still 16 even though we are all 30 now. I effed like 10 witches bro. Or I can't believe I drove that far effing wasted like that. Those things that used to sound cool, now sound so pathetic. Being rude to service workers. I worked in a call center for a large cell phone provider. Some lady went way over on minutes and got a massive fee. I couldn't give her a discount and she scoffed and said, "I know how much you people get paid." I still don't understand that comment. Like, how is my pay going to affect your bill? To give her a discount would have required manager's approval and there was no way the manager would have approved it. Volunteering information about themselves, when no one asks, so they can brag about things that totally happened. For example, I used to work with this one guy who claimed while walking, he was hit by a car and went through the windshield. Of course, because he was such a cool guy, he initially refused to go to the hospital and tried to walk it off, but his family had to tell him to go. Oh, and the glass was evidently the special type that doesn't leave any scars on hands, or faces. Blaming other people for your problems all the time. It's sad to watch. Well, I would've but made me mad. You're a man. Control your emotions. Get stuff done. At the end of the day you're going to have nothing but excuses if you keep blaming your problems on other people and expecting them to do something about it. Anything that screams "look at me," or "I'm a winner." Pride in aspects of yourself that aren't of your choosing. Allegiance to a group without any critical evaluation of that group's purpose, actions, history, or affiliations. Pride in things like being uninformed, disengaged, incurious, or ignorant. Basing one's sense of self off others' opinions. Placing more importance on appearance than substance. People who rev their engines through neighborhoods at night. I craved validation so I'ma wake you up. Our neighborhood had some drama about this recently. The mom of the girl this loud car guy was dating made an impressive display of defending him and his rights to have his car as loud as he wanted to. She suggested that those of us who don't like it should move rather than point out to him that it's rude. Someone replied, "I used to do it all the time when I was younger. I had a catback exhaust system as it gave me an HP boost. My girlfriend at the time also loved it, so I would race my car with her at night. I was raised by a narcissistic parent, so I am also a narcissist. At the time I didn't realize it, but I do now. It had nothing to do with awesomeness of my car. I just wanted performance, and I didn't care that it caused inconveniences for others. Still don't actually. But I know it wasn't right." Social justice warriorhood. It's a religious cult. Berating other people constantly for not having discovered the spiritually awakening truths that you have? Feeling like you have to convert the world to thinking like you do? When people knock on your door and want to tell you about Jesus or some such, you find it tiring and preachy and holier than thou, right? Bingo. Being fat with poor hygiene. You stop taking care of yourself, stop trying to improve yourself, start drinking too much, smoking too much, etc. Next thing you know, you look around and you now have the life of a loser. I think in addition to meds and therapy, depressed people should really focus on fixing up these little parts of their lives. Earn some confidence back. Wash yourself, dress properly. I'm probably going to get downvoted for sounding like Jordan Peterson. But I turned my life around by quitting my bad habits and replacing them with good habits. And taking a low dose of antidepressants, but that actually came later. High-rise trucks and bass loud enough to hear from down the street. It's not about the people liking the lifted trucks, it's an entire culture of attention-seeking cringe behavior. I grew up in a yeehaw part of the country, and the people who choose to get lifted trucks do it for no reason other than they want to look big and feel tough. These same people draw their entire sense of self-worth by peer validation from the size of their truck. It's become this toxic PP measuring contest, and none of it should be encouraged. These trucks get terrible MPG, are oversized and dangerous, since these idiots never learn how to drive properly, and for some reason these trucks can be driven with a normal license. And not to mention literally every time some a-hole has tried to get into a fight with me, it's been some guy in a lifted truck. Anytime your personality is based around one specific thing. Common examples include, vegan, being a mom, lifting weights. Along the same idea, anyone who thinks their political views are the most important part of their personality. Example with sexual preference. I used to work help desk, meaning I would have to go around to different software engineers' desks. And sometimes I would have to be at these people's desk for a long time. Usually I told them to go get a cup of coffee or whatever, but sometimes they hung around and we would chit-chat. 90% of them were cool, some were weird or gross and I didn't like helping them. But there were a few that were gay, and every time I had to go to their desks, they had to remind me that they were gay. Every conversation was about them being gay, and how they did gay things, and went to gay places. No clue why, but they always asked me if I wanted to go with them. I'm not very attractive, half their age, and I am married with kids. And I had zero interest in their extracurricular activities. I couldn't care less that they were gay, I just had zero interest in the topic, and the things they talked about obviously made me uncomfortable, especially in a workplace. Screaming at retail workers. I don't understand people who shout at waiters who serve the food if there is something wrong with it, or retail workers about their company policy. You're literally venting at a person who is doing their job and can't change anything. Save your breath and time. Bringing themselves up in conversations that weren't about them, or forcefully trying to change the subject to themselves or things they want to talk about. Talking about your experiences when they're relevant is all good. I'm talking about when people go out of their way to talk about themselves when it isn't relevant and clear the person just wants to hear themselves talk. Girls whose entire identities depend on the person they're dating. My fiancé's brother, 23M, dates this girl, 20F, who has zero life of her own. She has none of her own friends, none of her own hobbies, doesn't have a car, license, or job. The only things she's interested in is fishing, video games, and drinking, because guess who's into those things? Insulting people because of the class they were born into. I'm getting real sick of people treating my friend from the South like white trash because he was born into poverty. White trash is a state of mind, not an accident of birth. I was born into poverty as well, but was raised never to believe it defined my future. So glad my parents had the right attitude. Spending money that could be saved or invested, on trying to project a lifestyle that you simply do not have or cannot afford. Looking back, I had so many friends and people I knew that did this. I personally love the frugal lifestyle. I would drive a 1997 Corolla if I made $10 million a year. I had a 1991 Corolla that I bought used. Why not let someone else take the depreciation hit, and drove it for 17 years. I love that car. See, I love not spending money. It's a fun game for me. Like keeping score in any game, I like to see how low my score, spending, can be. But it does depend. If I was a real estate agent that was selling enough real estate to make $10 million a year, then sure, I would buy a really nice car. I understand that you have to have an excellent car. But if I was a software developer, and sitting at home all day making computer programs, and don't need to impress like a high-end real estate agent does, then I would drive my 1997 Corolla, myself. I mean, both a brand new Ferrari and a 1997 Corolla go the exact same speed, 25 miles per hour on a suburban neighborhood, 65 miles per hour on the freeway. What's the point? Oh, right. Little genital. I'm never going to shop at Whole Foods, because F them and their 100 times higher prices. And it is so funny. I used to go to these exceedingly high-end social events. I went to some very high-end auctions. I have seen with my own eyes, extremely rich people purchase a $250,000 coat for $10,000 at a rich people-only auction. And there were many deals like this, because the super wealthy are as cheap as fuck. They keep their money. Read The Millionaire Next Door. They gave a reception with all kinds of fancy food, and normal food, too. This was for the super wealthy. All the wealthy people ate the Ritz crackers and drank Budweiser. When the party was done, all the workers at their organization stormed in and ate all the caviar, foie gras, putting on the pretentious airs.
Congratulations! You've made it to the end. We want to thank you again for giving us a few minutes of your time, and we wish you have a great rest of your day, night, or whenever you're watching this. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe. It really does help us a lot. That's it from me. Roll the outro.